This has to be the #1 requested game for me to review, so here we go. Mass Effect. So if you guys don't already know, BioWare is like the master of making you feel like the game revolves around the choices you make. Some characters die, some characters live, some hate you, some love you, but it all revolves around how you play the game. So in Mass Effect, you play as Commander Shepard. Commander Shepard's either a dude or a chick, depending on what you prefer, and you can manually adjust and modify how Commander Shepard looks, but whenever I do that, I try to make the character look like me, and they end up looking like Grand Moff Tarkin, so I just went with generic Commander Shepard from the box. Seemed the safe way to do it. And the story of Mass Effect isn't just worldwide, it is in fact galaxy-wide. Yeah, that's big. Long story short, humans are the newbies being integrated into the galactic government. The other civilizations that have been part of this for like thousands of years don't really like that much, so that causes tension. But now with Spectre, which is pretty much like Judge Dredd, they have the unbridled freedom of making a call and like executing someone if they feel is best for the galaxy. One of these Spectres has gone rogue, so the council names you the next Spectre. And so you gotta take your crew and hunt his ass down. After that, it is epic awesomeness to a galactic degree. The story feels like it hangs on your every move. Example, you take a crew of you and a couple people. So I had a crew of 3 going to talk to this guy. We get to the guy, we talk to him, one of my crew members blows him away. If that crew member hadn't been in my party, that guy would have lived and actually cameoed in Mass Effect 2. But alas, I did not see him in Mass Effect 2 because he had a hole in his chest. That's awesome. I mean, the main story's gonna happen regardless of what you do. You cannot avert the climax of the game. But it's cool to have choices that you make affect things in the game. Like how people view you, how people interact with you, how you interact with people. Like there'll be moments where it'll be like, oh quick, make a call. Do we save these people or these people? And you're just like, oh shit, I don't, those people. Sorry guys. Who lives, who dies? Up to you. That's badass. And that's always cool to see in a game that deals with galactic politics, or politics in general. My problems with the game are actually with some of the mechanics. Like you have absolute control over your weapon and armor mods. So much so that you have to set aside a few minutes every time you get something new to modify everything. Like you know in an RPG where you get a new piece of armor and you put it on your main guy and then you allocate all the rest of your armor down the line accordingly? It's kind of like that times 10, at least. I mean, I like having control of my stuff, but why can't we have just one mod that affects all guns? They may or may not have fixed that in Mass Effect 2. Just saying. And when you go to a planet for a mission that's not story-based, it's just a generic mission, this base is the same as the previous base, which was the same as the previous base, so on and so forth. It just made it feel generic in every way. A little variety would have been awesome. More variety than just a couple of locked doors. But the money in the game is nice. It's also broken as hell. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing still, but by the end of the game, you max it. You are the richest thing in the galaxy. You're like the Bill Gates of the galaxy. If Bill Gates had a kid with Chuck Norris, that is you in Mass Effect 1. A combination that can only come from sci-fi fantasy. But all in all, the gameplay's great. It's called an RPG, but it's an action RPG, so it's not like turn-based or anything like that. Bullets are flying, you're ducking behind boxes, you're peeking out, you're picking people off. Good stuff. And the story is really good. The intensity gets a little out of control sometimes. There are some moments where you'll be like, oh my god, if I wanted to feel like this and decide who lives and who dies, I'd actually join the military. Some of the choices you have to make are a little rough, but that's what an epic game should feel like. And the choices you make in Mass Effect 1 actually carry over to Mass Effect 2. That is how a sequel should be. Oh, and word of advice, when you play the game, build up your dialogue options. The game's just a lot more interesting when you have more things to say. Priority 1. Build up your dialogue. Priority 2, weapons and shit. So if you have an Xbox 360 or a PC, play Mass Effect. No Mass Effect 1 for PS3 right now. Sorry. But PS3 gets Kratos from Mortal Kombat, so there is that. And Mass Effect 2 actually just came out for the PS3. Like today. So I guess you can jump on that. But I strongly recommend Mass Effect, and if you like what you've seen here and you want to see more, click right here to see more. Because I'm Commander Shepard. This is my favorite site on the Citadel. Or YouTube.